So, hi everybody. I am actually delighted to be doing a live online consultation with one of our fabulous clients called Liz, with a view to reassuring, I would say, any of you out there who are a little bit nervous about doing online programs or skeptical about doing online programs. Liz has lost a huge amount of weight, and the beauty of it is you haven't had to leave your house. It's all been online, and we're able to do that because we don't put emphasis on the scales. So our program, Liz will tell you more, is about your mental weight, changing your attitude, changing your habits, changing your behaviours, giving support tools. So we have weekly handouts we discuss, etc., listening to audios. So it's very different to just dieting, which is why it works online. So I'm delighted to chat to Liz. Hi, Liz. Great to see you again. So Liz, tell us a little bit about yourself first and what encouraged you or what triggered you to join Motivation.
I think the past few years of COVID and the stresses and strains that have come for everybody has had an adverse effect, both emotionally, physically, and mentally. And not only that, but there's a change in thought prospect of being able to put your best foot forward and how to do it in a good way. But I have to say, what's made it good is the connection with Motivation with you, Aisling, with Nolene. You're in my age bracket. I'm a menopausal dame who put on too much weight and used chocolate as my comforter. And what has happened is that authentic realization from Motivation. It's not what you eat, it's why you eat.
And can you remember when you started off, when you did that mental weight report, can you remember what specific habits and behaviours came up for you? So you would have been aware of certain triggers yourself, things that would have made you eat when you're not actually hungry. But can you remember back to your first mental weight, or even your most recent, because obviously we discussed that and we do it once a month. What came up for you?
I think the thing that made it good is the fact that you eyeball me. It's not just in a questionnaire, it's face to face. But I also have the luxury of sitting behind a camera and being able to speak to you in a non-threatening environment. Walking into your clinic with nearly over 20 stone would have been embarrassing for me.
Okay, very good point. Yeah, we totally understand that people trying to, picking up the phone even is such a hard thing. I know one of our podcasts, there's a young boy said that. He rang and he kept hanging up. It's a huge step to take, absolutely huge step to take. So the main reason you joined was, you're saying menopause, the weight. When did the weight go up and how did it all start?
Well, it was actually started many years ago. I never got to grips with losing my brother. So grief was a trigger. And it was another grief of losing my father that was another trigger that I need to actually get myself on board, especially at this age, especially with COVID, to make sure that I'm healthy, that I can beat any virus that's out there because of the risk of diabetes. And that was the killer in my mind. And also the fact that I made a bet in July the 4th, 2024, I'm going to Dunedin Park and I'm having a race with my 11-year-old, and I intend to complete the circuit.
Wow. And you've taken up cycling big time, haven't you?
Yeah, absolutely. And it is due to Motivation. It was just, if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change.
Absolutely. So health was a huge trigger for you. Did you say, are you on medication currently?
Yes, I had a suspected TIA a couple of years ago, so it's quite heavy in the cholesterol. It's in the aspirin for making sure that the bloods are pulled down, and it's also with reference to blood pressure. But in 2 weeks' time, I'm going in to knock on the doctor's door and say to them, oh, by the way, I've done this. This is what's going to happen. Can you yank me off the medication? And whether one way or the other, it's the fact that I have the confidence to say that. Because when I went on the scales and the doctors last year, he gave me a very severe warning, and it did scare me.
So do you think was that the kick in the ass, as we'd say, that you needed then? Some people say scare tactics are the best thing ever. Some people hate them.
I did, and also just the fact that on the very first call, I think it was Nolene, she said, well, Liz, I'm looking forward to seeing less and less of you as the weeks go by, but more and more of the positivity that comes with it. And that stuck with me at the very beginning. And these people were in my age bracket. These were women that didn't talk down to me, didn't talk at me. You kind of understood where I was coming from, but make no excuse. This is something that I have created, but this is something that I am going to finish.
Fabulous. And your motivation is, I've said from the beginning, which is a big help, was 10 out of 10, because we always ask that question.
But it's down to you, Aisling. You've always been kind, you've been respectful, not only considerate, but authentic. You've treated me with dignity and respect.
Thank you. That is lovely to hear. And I have to say, we're very blessed, because I think all the team in all the clinics have that. They're genuine, they're caring, you know, they're the type of people we want working for us. So it's lovely to hear that. Thank you, Liz. Tell me about the protein supplements as well. You said something.
I have one here because I'm a bit scared being on camera. I need all the protein I can get. It's a love with the protein supplements, because you know you're getting good, clean protein, and you're not getting that carbohydrate hit that makes you so tired at the end. And here's the key: education. I now know what to eat, when to eat, and how to eat it. And that was my killer. At Twix, Coronation Street, 7 o'clock. Jesus, life is good. And I'd be sitting there having a cup of tea and killing myself.
And that was probably a habit that you acquired over a long period of time, would you say?
But if you listen to the tapes, it takes 21 days to break a habit, and it takes 7 days in which to change. So yes, if you combine the mental approach, the CDs, talking to you, but that's the other thing, is the kick in the arse. Seeing you every week, and I'm there, oh, Jesus, please God, let me go down a pound or two. Not for the fear of failing, but for the fear of not trying hard enough.
You know what I'm going to say, and as you, maybe, I don't know if you saw me pulling out the mental weight report, because we did have this conversation the last time. I showed you your first mental weight report, okay? Your mental weight report, the habits, again, the reds, the pinks, the blues. The reds are the unhealthy ones, the ones that we want to work on. Pink is normal and blue is healthy. So your very first report I have here, and again, remember, see all the reds there?
Yes.
We were working on. And then we have the other part, more the psychological side of the program. We have the attitudes. We look at your motivation, your self-image, stress and emotions. And one thing that came up, I'm going to circle it here just so as you can see it. And you know, I bet you know what I'm going to say. What am I going to say without it? Because we've discussed it.
Yeah, it's perfectionism. Yeah.
Yeah. Because of what you just said, this is not to please me. This is not all or nothing. Allow yourself slip. I'd often even say to some clients, have a slip. Your graph should go up and down. So, and that is, people would often say, what's that got to do with eating? But at the end of the day, our program is based on what we call CBT. You know what CBT is, cognitive behavior therapy. So if we have a negative emotion, we all then, a lot of us, would turn to food without even realizing it. So we all know where that comes from. What's the first thing you do when you're crying? You get fed. So it's in the subconscious. But we can't control emotions. It's okay to feel annoyed or sad or frustrated if you're a perfectionist. You can't change that, and that's okay. But what we can change are our thoughts. The only way you're going to keep weight off long term, you know and I know, is changing your mindset, changing your thoughts, changing the triggers that cause you to comfort eat. You are absolutely doing that, because your perfectionism on your last report is now normal. You've got rid of that red, which is absolutely... Do you feel that changing yourself, Liz?
Well, I don't feel that change, but I know this works because 12 years ago I did motivation, and I had been married for over 14 years and so badly wanted a family, and it was because of my weight that I couldn't get pregnant. I have my daughter because of motivation. Now, I don't want to get pregnant 14 years later, but I want to be in her life. And that's the key. And that's why motivation works for me, because there's three things that I've learned with you. Ability is what you're capable of. Motivation is what you do, but attitude, how well you do it. And that's why this works. And Aisling, you are stunning at what you do.
Sometimes this happens to me, honest to God. That is what makes my job so worthwhile, honest to God. It's like, thank you. Thank you. It's just so rewarding. Look at me. I'm a bit.
I need a tissue. The makeup is going to run. Oh no, that's the. I always say it's about you know, the it's not just losing weight, it's the people's story of why, you know, and that I think is one of the most beautiful stories I've heard. Honest to God, I'm a big softie, as you say, I'm very genuine, but that is just good. And I love Aisling to bits, you know that. We talk online as well, she pops on, which is wonderful. So just to finish, to get myself back to north, take a deep breath. Tell me, what would you say to people who are nervous and skeptical about doing the online, who are afraid to go on camera, who are afraid to, or, you know, I'd often hear some people say, but sure, you don't know what I weigh, I could be telling you anything. Now, I'm not going by the scale, we're going by the mental weight report and your habits, behaviours. But what would you say to them, Liz, to reassure them that the online programme works?
The pandemic has taught us to do many things in different ways. And I think the thing that's most important is that even though I'm approaching 60 and a little bit of technology would be a bit afraid and doing this Zoom thing, but I have found that the connection has been absolutely wonderful. And the key for me is the fact that the consultants, yourself and Nolene, have been nothing but supportive. And whether I was there in person or there in Zoom, girlfriend, it ain't what you do, it's the way that you do it.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Liz, I love it. I love you. I'm so delighted for you, for your family, for Aisling. We talk about milestones and breaking down goals. The next goal, you and I have talked about this in one of our consultations, is going and visualization, going into your doctor now on the 12th of February, I think I have on your file.
Valentine's Day, that's why I said it. That was my present to me, to go to the doctor, to be able to get that good vibe back from him, because he absolutely killed me when I was in there last time. And motivation was the key ingredient for me to be able to go to the doctor, because I was avoiding those appointments because I knew what was going to happen.
Yeah, that's a very common thing. Very common thing.
So listen, I'm going to love you and leave you. Thank you so much for jumping on today and telling your story. Listen, love you lots, and we'll talk to you next week then.
Take care.
Thanks a million for doing this. Thanks, Liz. Take care. Bye.